Load, 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 load. Get here before public. Private. Bitch, gotcha. Ha!
Oh shit, another central.
Alright. Your memories of Final Fantasy IX to start off, Libra.
Oh, the mystery character, Sedan. I like the eerie, is it eeriness? I think that's the right word, isn't it?
I wouldn't call him eerie, I'd say...
Well, you know what I mean, he's got a unique thing to him, like, apparently he was a thief, and he's just, like, just discovering the world and shit, and then, just to say way later, things turn dark.
No, this is spoilers galore, because we're going to talk about speedruns, everything.
Oh, okay. Well, speedruns is your expertise.
No, but you spoil the crap out. This is a 20-year-old game. I'm going to even talk about my fondness of the game. So, what did you think of Vivi's fate? That since he was the prototype, he had a longer lifespan than the normal ones. Normal black mages. Because he was the prototype. And did you know that the monologue that you see at the end of the game was him? It's implied he had already died by the time Cezanne is reunited with Garnet. And all those little offspring, that's really a plot hole, but we're not ever going to get into that. It's kind of disturbing how that might have happened. But that's an entirely thing for another time.
It was just such a great game, and the combat was nice and fluent, and the abilities that each character have. Although I gotta say this, I'd say at least one of the characters wasn't that useful.
Koala.
So,
that would be Koala.
Queena, and then fucking the other one that throws shit. He really was nice.
You mean shit. It's Amarant is his canon name.
Yeah.
He is a monk. Each one of these were actually classes, which is interesting. And another thing people don't realize probably is there's a lot of cut content, believe it or not. Okay, I'm cutting off sound so that way the sound doesn't overblare everything. There's a lot of cut content, and by cut content, I mean cut story content. There was originally going to be, you remember when Garnet and them split from the party? And they go to, like, from Alexander and Beatrice and Steiner and Freya hold the line, and Blank and Marcus, you know, help get you out.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was actually, there was going to be, in the lore, there is a civil war that happens during that time. Where you have a faction against Brahm, the adopted mother. By the way, those who probably don't realize this, Garnet's actual true name, and that you have to literally go dig for through this Montessori Sarah quest is Sarah. It's like spoilers to let you know, because it's a massive chain quest and timing it right. Her true name is Sarah from Montessori. She was originally a summoner that, because Queen's daughter died of some unknown illness, we don't know why, because they found her mother and her washed ashore from the trickery Garland pulled, and removed her horn by force off her head.
Oh man.
I probably don't need to go into how painful that was. So she was a summoner the whole time, they were just like dormant. Her powers. So that's another interesting fun fact of Garnet. Steiner I have always enjoyed because people always go, well, he's an asshole. I'm like, no, there's a reason he's a bit of an asshole. It's, there's a line that speaks wonders of his character. It's, the line where BD's going through the identity crisis because of the Dolly ship. Remember where he sees all the black mages being made? And they're controlling the ship and they're lifeless. And,
I remember that.
And he goes, he looks at Zidane and goes, Zidane, I like them. Are they the same as me? And Steiner just goes, what are you talking about? You are you. You're not them. What should it matter where you come from, what you are? You are your own person. And I know I actually had a person that got Princess counter reset like 90-something times during the game. Close to 100. He called Garnet Princess, surprisingly. And it speaks volumes of how much Steiner goes through a character arc that by the end of the game, he's willing to admit, yeah, Zidane, you're the perfect match for the Queen now. Do you remember how much of an asshole he was to him? Zidane in the very beginning of the game?
Yes.
I mean, that just speaks his character growth. Freya, her arc is actually kind of terrifying. I don't know how you could, with Sir Fatry, still fall in love with someone who has no memory of you. That's actually kind of bloody terrifying. And to think she wasted all those years of her life for nothing. I'm not even going to get to the match in that Queen Bahram. I cheered when she died. Yeah, I don't care if she was mind controlled by Kuja. She literally dropped off did a Tarkin. She blew up Clara for the lulz to test out the summoning jewel. She literally pulled, and I kid you not, a Grand Moff Tarkin if those who know Star Wars, Grand Moff Tarkin just tested the Death Star out on Alderaan. Just to prove this thing. She literally fired the equivalent of a nuke in this setting just to test it out. Let's not even get into the fact that she's caused mass genocide with the wiping out of the Burmesian species practically. I mean, they're basically, by the end of the game, Freya's species because it's basically an endangered species. Zidane, believe it or not, doesn't go through his character arc till way late in the game. Everybody has a character arc throughout the game. And this was the only, I think, Final Fantasy IX hadn't allowed, Final Fantasy IX went back to having 4 party members, which you hadn't gotten to have since, I believe, 6, or maybe even before the NES game.
Final Fantasy IV, you had 4 parties.
Yeah, that was the last time you had 4 party members. So when they did this was interesting. And yeah, getting control of 4 party members again was great. And you can name them whatever you want to. It's always been interesting to appeal to the older games. And then Final Fantasy X comes along, they're all voice acted and you can't name anything. Even Tias, though he's nameable, isn't technically nameable. They just go you, him, he.
Oh, fuck.
They don't even say his actual name in 10-2, which is kind of a pestering bug for me. I'm like, dude! Can you at least acknowledge his canon name is Tidus? You know, I know you met Chuyen, who is basically the equivalent, the model based off of, from the original Xanax. We'll review Final Fantasy IX another time. That's a game I mean 10. I can go hours talking about the making of 9 and all that. Well, not 10, but this. This is also worth noting, 10 was the last one that Hirogoto Sakaguchi worked on personally. This Final Fantasy IX is a mixture of the old guard and the new guard. By guard, I mean the old team of Final Fantasy and the new team that would eventually take over from about 10 up. Fun fact, in Final Fantasy X was the last time we got turn-based, actual turn-based.
Turn-based, and then they went to action, and then it just got too
No,
crazy.
I mean, they went back in Nintendo 2, they went back to the normal, the active battle type system, is what I'm saying. Actual turn-based words, you know what I mean, the enemy won't move until you make your turn, was 10. And they hadn't done that since pre-4, I think.
No, because 4 was action turn-based as well. But that was
active battle time.
That was well done. That was well done compared to 10, because, I don't know, something about 10, it just fucking felt
grindy.
like...
Grindy. We'll get to 10 in a minute. Now, one of the things that's interesting about 9 is it's all gear-based. It kind of has a little bit of the MMO effect. Your gear matters. You want to, and this game also gave you great incentive. Let me go, for example, let me show you here. I still have all of her gear, because so long as you kept each gear, as long as you kept it quick, you would memorize one of these spells on there. So you would have to be like 7 battles to memorize the spell, and then you could just equip it later. So it gave you great incentive to always go craft a new item, and have everybody memorize the spells they could get. So that was interesting in itself. I didn't see this exact same system kind of implemented ever again until Tales of Vesperia, which I could get to another day as well, because that's a fun game. That's an interesting prequel anime movie too, which explains why Flynn is the way he is and why Yuri is the way he is, but that's entirely another can of worms. Zidane, I actually liked the fact that it took the entire group to put him back together after he mind breaks.
He mind breaks for a reason.
No, Garland literally ripped out his soul. If you don't know, what Garland did was the equivalent of ripping out his entire being and soul that had been up that time, and if it wasn't for the bonds and friendship he had, he wouldn't have been able to become himself again. And even then it's debated that, because he is a unique model. A unique genome. Yes, Mikoto exists after she was the third prototype who has a soul, but she's not as strong as Kuja or Zidane. We're gonna get to Kuja. Kuja, actually, believe it or not, has a lot of backstory, even in 9. He was already doing things before the game started. For gosh sakes, he was with the Knight family. He married himself into nobility, if you don't know. That's how he's able to know the nobles through Torino. Into the Knight family. Zidane literally basically got picked up by, we're not going to talk about Baku, because Baku's the definition of an abusive father. But there's a lot of nurture versus nature theme in this entire thing. I mean, they for gosh sakes, even Garnet, when she finds out the truth about her heritage, goes straight up to Beatrix, who, I don't need to go into how loyal she was to her country, and just loyalty. I will fight for the queen even if this is morally wrong, and I will question my orders, yet Steiner actually has a brain and questions, this is the wrong thing. I don't enjoy doing this, you know what I mean? Beatrix, you have to beat that mindset out of her, but even Beatrix acknowledges, I was told the truth by Dr. Big Nose, the truth of your heritage, and I don't care. You're still the princess that I remember growing up and raising. The country doesn't need to know that because they know you as the princess. Zidane, though he was born on Terra and created on Terra after Kuja kind of made the massive whoopsie of dropping him off on Garnet, holds no attachment to the Terrans, which, thank God, when they all died, I was very happy. For those who don't know, the Terran race like to just go along and assimilate worlds and they were not very nice people. It's also worth noting, no one has had the amount of power Kuja has had in the Final Fantasy verse since Kefka. Kefka, I wouldn't say blew up the world, he fried the entire planet. Yeah, Kefka basically won. Kuja kind of didn't, But he was so pissed off he blew up this planet I'm on. Blew up an entire planet. I can't think of another Final Fantasy villain that's actually done something on that level of destruction since then. Okay, I'm wiping out, the bad ending, which was that, which I've explained. Maybe humanity dying and the sun rising? No, gods can recreate humanity. That's not blowing up a planet. And, Vivi is interesting because, Vivi is the one who realizes that the genomes that are sometimes people aren't all there. He's like, well, I just don't think they're there. I think they're like similar to the Black Mages. They just need human contact, more people to talk to and get, more human interaction before they can be an actual sentient being. Which, go figure, he was right. But what better place to put them in? And I had a big smile on my face. Is he took them to the Black Mage Village? Did you? The place he took the genomes was to the Black Mage Village, where they're both.
Oh, that was good.
That was a wholesome scene because these Black Mages are already been through what the genomes were. Remember, they say they're blank slates and they got sentient to a degree, and now they're having to teach these genomes that know nothing. They're like, why does water move? And they're go, well, water always moves here. Didn't you know that? No. Yeah. And then you find out a lot of other things, just how similar the Neons and I find that like the perfect place to stick the genome race was with the Black Mages, and even all the cast agrees, yeah, we're gonna have to kill Kuja. We cannot let him interrupt something like this peaceful here. Because Gaia's kind of like a messed up place. They've always been in a semi-quasi war, but the one that stopped the war for a while before the game started was Sid. I'm not even going to get into the mention of the fact of how I wanted to smack Hilda across the face. You stole the most powerful ship in this setting. The first ship that can run not on mist, but just steam powered. Because your husband cheated on you. Okay? And then your husband, you turn him into a bug. I nearly died of laughter when I saw that. The Steiner just goes in there and punches him straight across the wall like, I hate bugs! That was hilarious. And then the regent's like, you just punched the king! Oops. And then they try to fix it and they turn him into a frog. And Koala is like, frog talks. The whole party has to look at him and go, no, you cannot eat this frog. And then when you find Hilda, I want to just, like I said, I want to smack her. She's just like, oh, maybe I'll turn you back, but if you cheat on me, I'll turn you into a mincemeat pie. I'm like, that's kind of screwed up. Dude, Sid, you deserve better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting with the theme of nurture versus nature. By the end of the game, which we don't know how big of a time skip is, semi-plot hole rush writing, go read the ultimatum for that. Basically Eiko gets adopted by Sid and Hilda, because it's implied Hilda can't have kids. So now basically Eiko is the princess of freaking Lindum. Which, I mean, I'd say that's a good thing. But then again, you have the probably first commoner king ever, which would be Zidane, and I don't know, not non-human, alienish creature, be that, as king. I'm not gonna get into this vibe. The first time I played this game, I'm like, am I a Saiyan? I mean, I don't know if you watched Dragon Ball Z, but you surely had to remember that the Saiyans had tails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you think, is he a Saiyan? When you saw Zidane walking around with a tail.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, can you wrap it around your belt? But he does something interesting that made me laugh my head off. It's on the same plane scene when Steiner's chasing him around. He, like, literally jumps up, wraps his tail on the thing, and just like, you can't get me. And he's just like, you monkey, get down from here. Yes, Steiner calls him a monkey at one point in this.
Oh
Go
man,
figure.
that was funny. Shit.
I'm thinking, I had been watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid, and I'm like, is this a Frieza reference? It's also worth noting Final Fantasy IX was the first true localization we got. That's why everybody speaks differently, and every, you know what I mean? It feels like a living, breathing world. Every time you go in there after certain events, every NPC talks differently. I mean, what do you think an NPC's gonna do? Just stand in the store and do nothing? Pointing at you, Dragon Quest. So, yeah. Another game that did the living, breathing world effect was Trails of, which we did the review of. All the NPCs, all their dialogue always changes, doesn't it, when you come back from those missions?
Yeah, they do.
And it has a limbo effect, and that's what some people have called it. Others I know called it, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's not very often you see a game acknowledge events have happened. And the entirety of this base game takes a course over a time period, I believe, of over 8 months. I did like that Zidane and Garnet's romance wasn't forced down your throat. Cough, thrown and squall. No, the whole game they're dancing around each other. They are literally dancing around each other. Zidane basically has a playboyish attitude towards her. He's just thinking, oh, she's another girl, like, skirt I can flip. And then it's like, why can't I do this? Shit, I'm gonna have to work on this one. And then she's you know what I mean? They dance around each other until literally this that I'm playing here, this area where she basically semi-confesses to him. Wasn't actually a true confession scene. That happens right at the end. Which then became a thing that Final Fantasy X pulled off. Gee, Yuna. You could have said that sooner to Titus. That's all I'll imply. Final Fantasy X will get its own me and you review. But come on!
By the way, who was I forgot the little girl that's the summoner. What's her name again?
Eiko. I just referenced her. She was adopted by the end of the game by Sid and Hilda, who, like I said, it's implied Hilda can't have kids.
She's very useful as a black mage.
White mage. She's a white mage. She can use white magic and white magic that can be cast. She's the second most. You get basically 2 white mage summoners, which is both Garnet and Eiko, and they're extremely useful. The only black mage you get is Vivi.
I think it's Vivi, yeah.
And Vivi, for as small as he looks, that little dude can pack a punch. It's also worth noting they went out of the way to make every spell look cool. They all look really cool. Now, there's this one hidden gem that's basically a summon. It's just basically a mech. I don't know if you ever saw that summon or not. It's a freaking giant mech.
I don't remember that.
It literally is a transformer. And you have to go through some hoops and ladders to find that thing real good. Also, let's not even get to the fact that there's the Excalibur 2. You can get the first Excalibur from Hades. Right off the bat. If you beat Hades, I believe you get the first Excalibur. But
the second one's a pain in the ass.
The second one, to get the second one, and I hold pride to this day because I beat it on the PlayStation 1. I still hold that. You saw it when I took off the desk. My box, you saw I still have that's the game I got when I was a kid. That's how long I've had that specific version of Final Fantasy IX. I got that when I was like 12. I've never gotten rid of it. I mean, I've gotten rid of tons of games since then, but never Final Fantasy IX, because it was a game I could always plop in when I was sad, depressed, anything. Because I related so much to certain characters.
Everybody's roles were good, and I liked the villains and surprises, like freaking
Starland?
What was his name?
Garland?
The not Garland, freaking
Kuja?
Zidane's clone brother,
Kuja. He wasn't a clone. He was the precursor to him. And this is actually something funny. When I first saw Kuja, Minnie did back in the day, some thought that was a female, but it's a dude. Now, I have no problem with the thing which is in lore is he was created as an adult, whereas Zidane was created as an infant to grow and develop, you know what I mean, with your surroundings, you know, different. He was going to be different than Kuja. So, even if you do that, it would have been better with the way Kuja dresses if, you know, oh God, how the community is, if he literally was gender neutral. You know what I mean? He dresses flamboyant because he's got a feminine look, but he identifies as a guy. But no. We're just going to give you this feminine look, ambidextrous look, for the sake of it. Never have agreed with that choice. Kuja's an excellent villain, though. He's multi-layered.
Yes, and then after he learned the truth, he got so pissed off, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna destroy everything. Fuck it.
I'm gonna destroy all Terrans. I know how horrible you people are. I'm just gonna nuke you all." It's worth noting, Kuja is the only one in the setting, and this is something I don't think people realize, that can pull off Ultima. You cannot learn that spell. No character can learn the spell. Not even Vivi can learn Ultima. Only Kuja has that spell because he is a high-level caster. He is extremely powerful in magic, in lore and in game.
The only powerful spell you can learn is Flare. That's it.
And that's Kuja's second highest magic spell. Vivi can learn Flare, and yeah, you have to... Now, it's worth noting trance is a thing in this thing, but Kuja's, yeah.
I like trances.
The problem I hated of trances is they were random. Like, you could try not to get one, and then bam, it would go into effect in a mob trash battle. I'm not gonna get into the Chocobo game. The Chocobo hot cold potato.
Although if you do stuff with Chocobos, you get very good rewards out of it. As I discovered.
I found that out, but it's like super long. I mean, like, yeah, you have to do that game, and then you have to do them on the world map. I've only done that rounds once during the PS1 era. I haven't done it on this because hell no. What else was there that was interesting of the entirety of the cast of 9? So who was your favorite character? Apart from Zidane, because Zidane's just too damn relatable. We all went through that phase where, girl!
I like Garnet, I like the summer girl, what was the one that had the lance again?
Freya.
Was it Freya?
Yep, it's Freya. You're talking to a guy who's memorized every character's name.
She's good. I liked
all the characters basically.
Well, almost except Quina and the other dude. He was fucking useless.
I actually liked Amarok. I liked Amarok in one specific key scene. It's when they're fighting the 4 Guardians at once. And he basically throws a rebuttal at that Guardian and goes, I used to know someone like you. He went around and picking fights for no damn reason at all and abusing the power he was given. That's what you're doing. He was basically quoting what he himself used to do before he met Zidane. Which was a very interesting character moment, and then his character stops. Probably has something to do with the writings. It's worth noting the Ultimatum is 800 pages long for this game. And before people wonder, well, we did get the Final Fantasy Ultimatums. No, we didn't. We got condensed, chopped up, and chainsawed versions that, like, basically what 4Kids Dub did from Square Enix. That is not the real Ultimatum. I've seen them and read them online. They are just condensed lore. Of all the story fragments, I would say the big meat of the story happens in disc 3. That's when shit just hits the fan.
Disc 3 is the best.
It's the best character growth for Zidane, everybody. Now, what do you think of the ending?
The ending was good. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Zidane died, and I'm like, no, he's dead. And then like, he's disguised as somebody. I'm like, you fucking asshole! Like, you had to be worried. We thought you were dead.
But then, because it tricks you because the monologue at the end of it, when you're going through, they're having to play, and this was I was melancholy, because Ruby's there for Text to Exit, playing the role that Garnet was at the beginning, and this hooded guy's there, who's implied to be Marcus, who we see throughout the game, you know what I mean? They even say it. But before that, you were reading monologues, which sounds like Zidane, you know what I mean? I always talked about you, da-da-da-da-da, and then you realize, oh shit, that was Vivi. And then Zidane realizes himself, and yeah. At least if I was singing their song, but it's implied that, it's never really said, that Kuja was the one that saved Zidane right before, you know, the thing gets there. He put up a barrier there, and basically he was so damn injured, he just had to probably rest at the village for a freaking year. I mean, I don't know how you would get out of that lava tree. That probably took a while to get out of. Messed up, and then you're gonna crawl your way probably to the Black Mage Village to recover. So I can see that. Not letting anybody know you're alive. Dick moves it on. But then again, it's implied Baku and the Tantalus group was all in on the play and Zidane being alive, and they were gonna reveal it for everybody.
Oh man.
So it was basically the Tantalus group knew Zidane was with them, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have him dressed hooded, and we're gonna surprise the Queen, because we know the Queen and them are in love. What better way for him to come back than during the confession scene of the play she loves? I want to be your canary.
That was great.
And Beatrice and Steiner become a thing. That's interesting. Though you still killed a massive group of people, Beatrice. Although I will point out one thing, a lot of people don't realize it. Beatrice never went full tilt on the party group. Every party time you face her, she will knock your party health down to 1. Because of some one-trick pony move. First she uses, I think, Thunderblade on you. Then she uses Shock. And then she uses Chismarian. Which, by the way, Steiner can get all 3 of these if you get the correct equipment later throughout the game. So you can just basically floor Beatrix. Which is interesting in herself. Beatrix, I honestly think she was meant to be a playable character to go with you throughout the end of the game. Because if you get to Hades' dungeon, you are dropped the sword called Save the Queen, which is her sword, designed for her. How do I know that? Because I had cheat code discs growing up that I still have today, which is messed up, that let me unlock all the items early, and that, when you would play as her for a second, you could equip that sword that you would get later in the game to her. That pissed me off when I sped run that game. I'm like, really? Now the good thing about Final Fantasy IX here is you can skip a lot of dialogue really easy, even the cutscenes. In the PS1 edition, you couldn't do that.
Oh, and I just want to mention, if you use cheats on Final Fantasy IX, it doesn't disable your trophies.
What?
I'm serious.
I thought I disabled them.
No.
I went through this entire game with no cheats on, basically. I clicked them on for like one of them, which was to beef the ability. You made me learn my ability quicker. But other than that, I went the entire son of a... Because they say, you know, they give you that little warning.
I looked thoroughly. I think maybe there's one cheat that does disable the trophies, but majority of the cheats you can unlock and use them.
Yeah, well, I would recommend, if you don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds... Alright, one of the abilities you need to get ASAP, as soon as you are given it, and I'll tell you it right now, because this cuts down your grinding time on learning abilities, is... Hold on. Yeah, ability up. Equip ability up super quick, because that basically, you know, makes it so your abilities learn up, and also equip level up. Ability up and level up are key to learning, getting your levels raised faster, and getting your abilities learned, because it basically cuts the grinding time in half. So anybody who plays this game, those are two tips I could recommend you right off the bat that are king. Now, it's worth noting Zidane uses two different types of weapons, which is interesting. He can either use two dual-bladed sword or his two knives, because he's a thief. And like I said, they kind of stuck every character as their own archetype. Freya's a dragoon. Steiner's basically the knight class. Is it a knight class if that was there, or is it the warrior class?
Yes. I think it's a knight class.
Yeah. As we said, Amarant's a monk. Quilla's a blue mage. Believe it or not, he's a blue mage, or basically red mage. Vivi was the black mage. Summoner class for both Aiko and and I believe I'm missing one more. I did say Freya. I said Zidane's thief. Yeah, that's basically all your basic classes that you had through then were that. And then you have guest characters, which are nothing. Beatrice is a paladin. I don't know why. Hate you, Beatrice. Why are you the only one who gets the paladin class? I could point out the flawed logic of the scene where Beatrix gets the massive wake-up call from Zidane. Isn't your sworn duty to protect the princess blah 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 from your throne? When really it's the queen, not the princess when it comes to royalty and politics. But Zidane's been putting up with a guy who's been shouting princess, 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 I think 54 times up to that point. So to his point of view, it's like, hey, princess above all matters, and then basically Beatrice is slapped in the face. Oh shit, the queen really was gonna kill her. Well, I'm gonna turncoat. By the way, Zord and Thorn were annoying as hell. They blast you with virus. Which, in case some of you don't know, is one of the most annoyingest things you can get in this game. Next to this monster I'm fighting that can shoot bad breath at you. That's the second annoyingest thing. The most annoyingest part in this entire game is Necron. You remember Necron, don't you, Libra?
Necron made no sense.
He just appears out of nowhere. He is literally what the archetype, what I would call that situation is. You have Kuja, the theatrical final boss. The theatrical should have been the boss to the final game. And then you just have the final boss of the game, which is Necron. In case those are wondering how the hell they got out of there that quick, Kuja teleported them as he was dying. Don't mean to interrupt too much, Libra. I just know way too much about this lore of this game because I've played it so many goddamn times. Like, growing up... Wait, no. Oh, I just saved on the Crystal World save. Oh well, I needed to redo that section anyway. And I've already beat the game, so whoop-de-doo. This is just grinding for fun at this point. What was your favorite weapon, some of your favorite spells? I mean, did you like, let's say, did you like the summons the way they...
Kiaraga. Reflect.
I'm not even gonna get to admit how broken Reflect can be in this game. But it's a double-edged sword because, oh, by the way, this game has limited elixirs. Looking at you, Final Fantasy 15, where I just go buy as many elixirs as I want.
Yeah, okay.
What? I'll make fun of Final Fantasy 15 as many times as I can. Because that just was stupid. I was like, dude, elixirs are supposed to be hard to find, hidden items, and you can only use them there. By the way, Koopa Moogles are awesome in this game, just like they are in the Kingdom Hearts series. I don't know why. Although it's worth noting, here's a fun fact, fun Final Fantasy trivia fact. This game has the most Moogles in all the Final Fantasies so far.
Yes.
It was actually stated by the developers there are more Moogles in this game than any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And even 10 didn't have a Moogle. It had like a Pushy. 15 had a Pushy. 13, they're not even there at all, I don't believe, other than like maybe a cameo or something. Well, 13 we'll get to another time. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts, they're all over the damn place. And there, they're badass, because there I can synthesize as much items as I want to and buy shit from them. They're the equivalent of Pleskin. They got their massive upgrade that they badly needed. Although, sure. It's worth noting, for the first half, Cream Bomb is the only... You think that's going to be the villain throughout the game? No, she's not. She's the villain for like up to disc 2. Then disc 3, it's revealed, oh shit, Kuja's the villain. Oh wait, oh shit, there's someone above Kuja, which is Garland. Which Kuja, I'll admit, did have a long-term game plan.
So many villains, quite a bit.
Well, actually just 3. Garland was just a maintenance keeper for the Terrans, and Queen Brahm had literally been brainwashed and mind-controlled by Kuja by that point, so yeah. She was just gone. The only time she gained any sense of her old sanity was when she was dying. And even then, that doesn't count.
No,
that woman had committed so many... ugh. She was on Maester Keenock's level of just evil. Let's not get into Maester Keenock. Mr. Keenock, I could go on for just ranting how much I hated that minister. And was so happy when Seymour did him in.
Next review, Final Fantasy X, because we all played it.
Well, we've all played Final Fantasy X, and I know a lot of the some of the dialogue and localization stuff. And we're not gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about the infamous laughter scene. Okay.
For another video.
That'll be for the next review. By the time you all see this, it should be about 8:30 in the morning to 10:30 whenever I would drop this, like the normal time. So I hope you look forward to this. This won't be a random drop like the last one. Hopefully me and Libra can make a series out of these smaller reviewing older RPGs that we've all played. If you like it, do leave a comment down below on what you think of this and how you think of the series. Because basically I'd be playing a game like this that I own, and while we're talking over it to tell you the audio of the story. So yeah, spoilers galore for a 20-plus-year-old game, so there you go. But I would highly recommend you pick this up on sale, because yes, it's $20, but it's best like 14. What would you say?
Probably go a little bit lower. I'm gonna say 10 or 12.
No, when it goes on sale, because it usually goes on sale for like, 14 to whatever Canadian price. Would you say you buy it on sale?
I would say for Canadian, it's gotta be 14 or less.
No, I'm saying, is this a game you buy on sale on PlayStation?
Yes, I did.
I mean, we don't have to do any prices. I say buy it on sale because you can buy this almost anywhere at this point. It's on all 4 platforms. It's on the PlayStation 3, it's on the PlayStation 1, it's on the PSP, it's on everything. It's on the Switch, for God's sakes, it's on PC, okay? It's on a lot of things. So this is a buy it on sale. It's worth your buy. If you enjoyed old school RPGs, this is for you. Till then, this is me, Madveer, signing off, and you.
Take care, everybody, and thanks for listening to the review.
Okay, see ya.